Hey guys, guess what time it is? That's right, it's Friday morning, and your favorite fish show is about to begin. Come on guys, get up and help me celebrate this wonderful day. We get to talk about fish, and there's nothing your boss can do about it.
Holy God, get this guy a towel, will you?
What is up, guys? It is your boy Scott from King Queen Cichlids, and this is podcast number 3 from the Fish Heads. We are so happy to have you guys here. First, I want to bring to the screen, this is the first time you think you've been to the side of me, Chris. It is my brother from another mother, Chris from Multi-Tank Addictions. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing wonderful, Scott. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. You threw me off. You didn't give me that hello that I'm used to hearing from you.
I'm trying to back off the hello.
Really? That's your signature move, man.
I've had several people say that that's the reason why they don't watch the streams, because it blows them out right off the bat. So
I would care less about. I love your hello. That's like one of my favorite introductions. That and what you say at the end of your video, love it, man. I don't even know how you remember all that, but
I don't remember it. It's second nature now.
It's like ingrained in the brain.
Yeah, once I start it just goes until it's done.
All right, good to have you on the show. And then next is my friend Kenny E from Danikin Aquatics. Kenny, how are you doing, sir?
What up, fish people? Doing great, Scott. How are you, man?
I am fantastic. And you want to know why I'm fantastic, guys? I've been looking at our numbers. Podcast number 1 is well over 1,000 views, and podcast number 2 is just about to hit 800. And I'm super excited about the success we're having with this show because it's such a lot of fun. Don't you guys agree?
Oh yeah.
Having a ball with it, man.
Favorite thing to do in the middle of the week.
Now, I don't have the comment in front of me, but I do want to bring up that someone said they love the show, but they wish we would timestamp it. Now, Chris, you probably have to teach me how to timestamp it. And number 2, I don't know if that's something we want to do, because obviously we want people to enjoy the entire show from start to end. But I guess to this person's point, they were like wanting to get to a specific topic we were tackling, such as what is the true green Terra. And I guess they wanted to fast forward to that to hear what was going on. So what's your thoughts on that, Chris?
I'm more of the, like you in this case, I would rather they watch the whole video, because that's going to detrimentally affect your analytics on the video.
Absolutely. Plus, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot, going on. And
it's all good information.
Absolutely.
We're specifically trying to put out as good as information as possible. So,
Kenny E, what do you think? Timestamp or no timestamp? That's 3 thumbs down, guys. So we heard your comment. We appreciate you watching us.
Let's keep it in true form. No timestamp, knuckleheads.
There you go. Because we want you to enjoy this fellowship of 3 guys talking about fish. And today I'm super excited because we're going to be talking about each and every one of our favorite 5 fish. Say that about 3 times to see if you guys can say that.
Fabulous favorite 5 fish.
That's pretty snazzy. So, in this show, we are going to not just talk about cichlids. We're going to leave it open to all the fish in the entire aquatic kingdom, correct?
But unfortunately, in this here circle,
we're cichlid guys.
I was just gonna say our top 5. Maybe we should have brought Danny into the conversation so there'd be some diversity. But I think these 3 right here, we're all going to have very similar heads on this subject. I think
probably.
Yeah,
I am called King and Queen Cichlid, so it would be a little funny if I threw in tetras or guppies or something.
I'm anxious to see how it turns out because we don't know what the other one's going to say. So this is going to be interesting.
That's right, guys, because we're going to go, each person's going to give 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're not going to let one person go 1 through 5. So it's going to be a surprise to all of us who are 5s and 4s and 3s on. We might actually mix. We might actually have the same fish. You never know. So you guys ready?
I am always ready.
Who's going to go first with number 5?
Go
Want me
for
to
it,
go?
Kenny.
I'll
Kenny?
do it. My number 5 is going to be Ultimate Angelfish.
Ooh.
I just recently started. I've kept angels most of my life, but these angelfish guys have got me. They might even climb their way up the ranks as they get bigger. You know what I mean? But right now, my heart when I go in and look in that tank is like this. So they're definitely my number 5.
And what size tank would you recommend?
For the average fish keeper, about 125 probably be fine. The key is you want to have a platform that has depth because
Right.
they do get up to 17 inches from top to bottom. So you want to make sure you got a good, deep tank.
So on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being easiest and 10 being most difficult, what would you give the score for the Angels as far as a 5?
If we're talking ultimate angel fish as a whole, because there's so many different types, could be as high as easy. But these ultimate angels, I'm going to go 5 because they are, a little hotter water. You got to be very good with the feedings and all that, and the water changes. And
So you would recommend them to someone that has not a beginner but been in the hobby a little while?
at least a moderate level, yes. I would want them to be at least.
All right. Chris, you next or me?
I'll do next.
Awesome.
My number 5 would be the T-bar cichlid.
Nice.
I love this fish. I've had them several times, and I love to mispronounce the species name because it bugs the crap out of people. It's Amatitlania sagica?
Sagica.
Or Sagica.
Yeah, I've heard it a lot of different ways.
Yeah, a lot of people got mad when I did my species profile on it, and I kept saying sagica. Oh, it was so much fun. But the T-bar cichlid is an awesome fish. It's a nice little bitty fish, and they got a beautiful blue eye that changes colors when they go into breeding. So
Nice.
it goes from a blue to a gold, and they're a pretty fish.
Recommended size tank?
40 breeder.
40 breeder.
You
And,
could do it in a smaller tank, but 40 breeder is what I would recommend.
okay. And scale from 1 to 10,
Oh,
easiest. Go ahead. I'm sorry, sir.
It's a 2 for sure.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, super easy fish.
All right, guys, this is my number 5, and I got a feeling we're going to mix on some of this because what I'm getting ready to tell you, Kenny has a whole school of them behind him. I got to go with Oscar as my number 5 favorite fish because let me tell you guys, this is the fish that got me into the hobby. This is a fish. Some people think when they look at fish, oh, they're just dumb fish swimming around in the school and they don't know anything. Get an Oscar, understand how intelligent they are, how much personality they have, and you will never go back. This is what got me my foot into keeping big Central and South American cichlids. The Oscar, its personality alone. I think it's a great beginner fish for people who want to start keeping quote-unquote monster fish. It's a great fish to begin with, and I think it's really hardy and easy to keep. As far as tank size for a male, I would keep it in a 90-gallon tank. And if you're going to have more, what do you have back there, Kenny? What size tank is that?
Those are 135s.
Yeah, 135, 150. I would keep it in a tank that size. These guys are going to get big. They're sloppy, but they're great. And that's my number 5 fish. All right. Chris, how about your number 4? We're going to mix it up. Chris, give us number 4.
My number 4 is the true blue Acara, not the electric blue, although I do like that fish, but the true blue electric Acara, or the true blue Acara, the Andino Acara Pulcher. I love those fish. They're basically, if you want a smaller version of a green terror, that's what you're going to get. And we're talking about the Rivulatus before anybody asks.
Not the Salzburgie?
Yeah, not the Salzburgie. It's it would be a smaller version of the Rivulatus.
Oh, you're forgetting the gold Psalm too.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
that is the Rivulatus.
Right. Kenny's always trying to stir the pot.
But that I absolutely love them. I got them finally in one of my tanks. It's in the 500-gallon. So, yeah.
And that tank's spectacular. I mean, it's great.
I would say probably, since those get up to 6 inches, I would probably say 55-gallon for one for a pair. They're not going to get huge, but
experience or beginner.
We're probably talking
Intermittent.
4
Okay.
or 5. They're right in the middle.
All
They're
right.
not super hard.
And you have them in your 500-gallon tank with other fish. So are they compatible with other community fish in your?
They are. They're. I mean, right now because of the size, they're compatible with my black neon tetras and my black skirts. But when they get up to that 6-inch mark, the black skirts are probably going to be the only ones that'll survive it. The black neons will probably have to be replaced, put into a different tank.
Yeah.
So that I don't have to worry about them getting eaten.
All right, Kenny, I'm going to take my pick on number 4. You guys ready?
Yeah.
So I could have easily went Parachromis and given you top 5 or Amphilophus and give you top 5. I really took the hard route here. I only picked one Parachromis and I only picked one Amphilophus, it's killing me, but it truly is my top 5 favorite fish. Number 4 is my Amphilophus Chancho. Out of all the Amphilophus I've had, and I've been in the hobby 30 years, I've had every Amphilophus there is. The Chancho is by far my favorite. Chris, you've seen him live in concert at the show, AE show. His personality, and I've had a couple of Chanchos, and their personalities and aggression have been the same in every one I've had. They are gold, tan brown with so much spunk. It's like a tank almost. It's like a tank with just a huge personality. Absolutely love them. They are fairly new in the hobby. They were just discovered in the 1990s, believe it or not. So I just think it's a great fish.
Man, I was expecting you to go with the Trimaculatus.
How do we?
You want me to start crying on the stream?
I mean, I still got to send that to you, but that.
Oh man, I can't wait. Yeah,
that was for you. I did that solely for you. So
I really appreciate that. I can't say the Trimax is my favorite right now because I'm still feeling feelings about losing them.
He's stammering.
Dude, I understand his pain. I lost Susie. It's been, how long has that been now? It's got almost a year now, right?
Yeah,
I still look at the tank and just get mad. You know?
I much rather than my favorites pick fish that are still with me and doing well. And that fish is fantastic. He definitely is going to need something like a 125. I mean, by himself, he's going to need at least a 6-foot long tank. The guy's nuts. Make sure you got lids on because every day this guy's popping my lids off or at least bumping it up. So just a great fish. I would definitely say this is probably a 4-5 rating as far as beginner, or not. It's right there in the middle. I would suggest that you keep an Oscar or something before you jump into this Chancho. Sorry, Kenny, took too much time. What is your number 4, sir?
My number 4 is a copy of your number 5 would be an Oscar.
Hell yes.
I mean, I as you can see, I still keep them to this day. It was the first cichlid I ever started with. And I mean, they are a true water dog, guys. I mean, these fish you can train to come eat right out of your hand. Of all the ones behind me, only one is not trained yet. And it's only because I just got her. But to the most part, these guys, when I'm feeding them, they'll come up, they'll let me scratch their head. I mean, they are truly a water dog.
Yep.
You'll see as the stream is progressing, this one likes to come down here. She's soaking because she sees me here and I'm not going around the back quick enough to feed her. So she's pouting. But yeah, they're by far. And you guys heard what Scott said. I agree. It's a 1 to 2 fish, easy to keep, and make sure you have a sizable tank, 90-gallon or above.
So much fun, aren't they? I mean, just so much fun. All right, so that was Kenny's number 4. I guess I'm going to go next with my number 3. Or no, go ahead. No, Chris, you went first last time, right?
Yeah, so
go ahead.
Turn, Scott.
So we're going number 3. Oh my gosh, I'm going with the Cuban, the Opsis tetracanthus. If you guys ever see me, all I do is wear black and white. I love that color. I love that color mix. Maybe it's because I'm part black, part white. I don't know. But I'm telling you, I love just the black and white patterns, zebras, and whatever it is. I like that pattern. I've loved this fish. It has a great attitude. It's not as personable as like an Oscar, Kenny, but it's still got some, flair to him. You're not going to put your finger in there and pet him. He's not going to be all like that. He's a pretty aggressive cichlid that gets up to about 10 inches. And my only failure with this fish is I've never been able to breed them. As hard as I've tried, I've never been able to breed them. I'm going to keep trying as long as I can. But just a spectacular fish. Pattern kind of looks like a jaguar, but just that nice black and white. I love them. A pair can be in a 90-gallon tank, no problem. I would put these guys as a 5 as far as intermediate fish. Somebody that's been in the hobby for a little while can probably keep them without any problems. That's my number 3. We're going to Kenny. You're next.
Well, my number 3 is going to be Discus.
Ooh.
My wife and we got into keeping them about 6 years ago is when we really fell in love with them. And absolutely gorgeous fish. You could start off with a couple of them in a 40-gallon breeder. I would recommend as they get bigger and older that you maybe give them an upgrade. Warm water fish, you're going to have to choose its tank mates wisely. Most angelfish would go with them. As far as Coriodoras, you'd want to go with like a stir-by, something that can handle the heat a little better. But as far as, now I would probably say you'd probably want to have a skill level up there around a 6. I would say it's not something that if you're just starting out, I don't recommend jumping into Discus. And the reason I say that till you get parameters down and what you're looking at when you're doing your water test and making sure that you're doing the water changes on the Discus is not a forgiving fish if you aren't willing to commit to the weekly water change. They really aren't. So
I always think that they're a delicate fish. What do you think, Chris? You consider Discus delicate?
Well, it depends on whether or not they're wild caught or not, in my opinion. If they're wild caught, they're going to be a delicate fish. But if they're tank raised, tank fish, they're way more durable than they used to be, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've never touched Discus just for the fact that I'm so scared. They're so expensive, number one.
Yeah, I lost $600 worth of them. Trust me, I know they're expensive.
Yeah, and I just get a little worried about doing something wrong because I've never kept them, so I don't know what really I'm talking about with Discus. But I'm always fearful that if something goes wrong, they could perish very quickly.
Well, I do agree with. If you go with the fancy ones they have out nowadays with the brilliant colors, 90% of those are going to be tank raised fish. And Chris is absolutely right. In comparison to the old, straight from the wild Discus, these are a lot easier to keep than those were. Because I've kept both. And the wild ones were a lot harder. So,
okay. So you said
Kenny,
tank. Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, Chris, go ahead.
Kenny, would you say the wild caught ones would be rated at what then?
8.
Yeah, I was going to say 8 or 9. They're
and it's
really
only
hard
because of the water change, guys. I know when you first get into a hobby, you don't understand how important a water change is. And like I said, Discus, especially wild caught, are not going to be forgiving if you take 2, 3, 4 weeks to change their water. It's not going to happen.
Right.
So
tank makes, you said angelfish. Anything else besides angels can go?
Anything that can handle warm water. We have in our Discus tank right now, we've got the Discus, of course, and then Millennium Rainbows. They like the hotter water. And then we got gold barbs in there, a couple different types. Cardinal tetras like it hot. And then for the catfish in there, we have stir-by cories. They all seem to get along fine. So
nice. Chris?
My number 3 is another water puppy.
What?
It would be the Midas Cichlid, Amphilophus citronellus. Old Red, who will come out right now.
You will soon see him in Daniken Aquatics.
When hell freezes. Old Red, I did not, until I got him, I didn't know how much I was going to love him. He is an awesome fish. He's a creamsicle Midas Cichlid, but they are commonly mistaken with their close relative, the Labiatus, which would be the red devil.
Yep.
And it's easy to mistake them. Honestly, when I bought him, I was sold a red devil. Mm-hmm. It was Scott that actually told me that it was a Midas Cichlid. So up until then, I thought I had a red devil. But yeah, definitely a great fish. I'd say he's a typically kept as a species only fish, and I would say 90 gallons minimum.
Mm-hmm.
They need space, and they're probably a 5 or a 6, just because some of them will not let you do tank maintenance. Like you stick your hand in the tank. Damn it.
Relax.
Some of them won't let you do that.
Yeah.
Others will be like Red, where I open the lid, he comes up, I stick my hand in the tank, and he goes to the opposite end of the tank because he doesn't want to be messing with me.
So that's a great point. So let me ask you, what filtration are you using in Red over there? Because I've used sponges before, and my Chancho just absolutely eats them like they're some sort of snack. So what are you using back there?
He has a single Cascade 1000, which
Okay.
is by Penplex.
Canister filter?
Yeah, canister
Yeah.
filter. I clean it about once every 6 months. It's about due for a cleaning. But
He's really showing off back there, Chris. He's spectacular. I mean, he really is.
That was one thing I was going to say, guys. I have seen that fish in person. There is no camera live that's going to give the proper justice to that fish. That fish is phenomenal. And
Look
keep
at-
in mind, he's this big, if not bigger.
Yeah.
He is a big fish.
I actually photographed him today and was able to get a tape measure on the tank, and he's 12 3/4 inches long from
Yeah.
the photograph.
He's still got some growing to do there.
Yeah,
little
they
bit.
usually get about 13 to 15 inches.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Now, Chris brought up a nice point about photography. While we're here, we want to shout out the NEC Northeast Council Convention, virtual convention that's taking place this Friday. I'm super excited about it, Chris. I know both you and Kenny are going to be there.
Yeah.
Chris and I are taking pictures of our fish now. We're going to have some friendly competition, and we're going to see where the chips may fall. I know a lot of people think because I do portrait photography that I have a great chance, but let me tell you, Liz has kicked my ass every time that we did a photography contest at the same NEC.
professional photographer.
Yeah, I have $1,000 camera. She has her cell phone. I come in third place. She comes in first place. You guys do
Gets
the math.
paid to take pictures.
I do not get paid to get to pictures. I've won some contests, but I don't get paid. But she's fantastic. She's ready to whoop my butt too. So definitely, if you're not registered for the NEC virtual convention, do it. It's $7. It's so cheap, and there's going to be speakers Friday, Saturday, and then a huge auction on Sunday. Now, to get involved in the auction, you actually have to register, and there is what's called a meeting place where you actually go the next day and pick up your goodies. So my meeting place is 2 hours away in New Jersey, so I don't know if I'm going to be buying anything from the auction. Chris,
Well, there we go, Chris. There went our one shot to get in the action. Have Scott pick him up for us.
and then ship it to
Scott
you
was
guys.
going to be our meeting place.
Yeah, now that would be fun. We should.
Well,
definitely
I
do
know I'll see Scott this year because I'm actually signed up for the ACA.
that. Yep. I'm looking at my plane tickets right now. That's going to be happening. What, July? What is it, Kenny?
23rd to the 25th.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. And your Aquashella happens before then, Chris?
No, after.
After?
It's Halloween.
Oh,
Halloween.
really? In October?
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So definitely check out NEC. It happens this week. You still have time. You still have Chris tomorrow at midnight to get your photos in.
It's the 21st, April 21st by 11:59 p.m.
And people will get cash prizes. They'll mail it out to you.
You get to watch the judges judge the photographs.
But let's be
on
honest,
stream.
you got to have tough skin because the judges don't pull punches. They tell you what's wrong with your pictures and what you can improve on. So if you're going to come, be ready for some real critiques. So, all right. I think, Kenny, we're back to you for number 2.
Well, my number
Yeah.
2 is, believe it or not, it's not a cichlid, guys.
Uh-oh.
My number 2 by far, and it wasn't even close, are my mud skippers. I got the African mud skippers, man. Super, super cool. Very personable fish. Entertaining as can be. And they look like something out of an alien movie, dude. I mean, they just got their cute little itty bitty eyeballs. And when I go down there, all 5 of them meet me at the front. Like, what's up, dude? You got some food? What's going on? Trying to shake me down. And if I don't do it quick enough, they'll literally jump full steam, smack the top of the lid. And I mean, they're in a 110 tall. So that's quite a distance to be jumping, you know. But super, super cool fish. I would say if you're going to get them minimum, you want at least 2 to 3 of them because they are, I think you need to have some interaction with others so they do their flaring and all the stuff that makes them entertaining. But I personally kept 6 of them. I did lose 1 to aggression. So I would say that you're probably going to want a minimum of 120 or so. And Premier League, 150 to 180. So they got the room. And then you're going to want to basically fill it half with sand. So they got a dry area and then an area for them to do their thing in. But they are something that does need the water. You know, you got to have a little bit of salt. So it is brackish. For that reason alone, I'm probably going to rate them a 7 just because it does take a little bit of checking salinity and making sure you got things right. Tank mates, you can do just about all the brackish with them, except I don't know if I'd mix one of the puffers with them just because I think that would be it, you know, because they got pretty brilliant fins. I could just see that puffer fish taking a chunk out. So
you're telling me I can have scats in there with the mud skippers?
If you get the water deep enough, absolutely.
Okay. All
absolutely. Right. I keep night gobies in with mine, and they do very well with them.
Nice. I have to tell you, I don't know anything about mud skippers. The first time I even saw them, I'm not afraid to tell you this, was on Zenzo's channel, watching his, and I think they're really cool. I mean, but are they readily available, Kenny? Can you get them anywhere? Or
most fish stores will, like how I acquired mine is I went to the owner of the wet spot and said, hey, listen, dude, I've been jonesing for these for months, if not years. I really want them. Can you get me them? Now, if you're talking to the guy and you're going to order onesie, twosies, he's probably not going to be interested. But I told him I wanted 6 minimum.
Right.
Well, he brought in like 15 of them, and he told everybody not you can't sell them till Kenny chooses his. I went in there, he gave me my 6, and then the rest were available. But super cool. There are different types. You got Indian version. You've got, I mean, they're all over the world. Australia has them. So the ones I have are some of the biggest, the African ones. There are ones that are bigger, but I can't imagine having those hobby-wise that it's going to work out. Because, I mean, these ones are a handful for me already. I've already got to put them in a bigger tank already. And, I mean, mine are a good 9 inches now. Huge.
Yours are 9 inches?
At least 9 inches, yeah.
I did not realize they got that big.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Wow. What's really cool about this show and everyone's picks is that you get to hear about fish you might not have had before. I have never thought about having mud skippers, but after hearing what you just said, I'm interested in them now. So hopefully you guys out there watching will enjoy this. And if you've never heard of these fish, research them and then think about possibly getting them. Always make sure you do your research first, though. Chris, number 2 is you, buddy.
Number 2. I am going to go with you guys on this one, but he's my number 2 because, well, I have one and I absolutely love her. Tiger Oscar, Astronautus ocellatus. I love that name.
You say it really well, too.
It just
say it again for us, Chris. Say it again.
Astronautus ocellatus.
Woo, it sounds French.
I know, right? It's not even Latin. It's got to be French.
I never thought a word could be an aphrodisiac, but it kind of is.
Oh, wow, right?
Where's Liz at? I'm getting hot right now.
Get the towel,
maybe
man.
I should change that to a convict cichlid instead.
not quite a sensual, Chris, but yeah. Tell us about your Tiger Oscar.
Okay, so, well, my dad's favorite fish is a Tiger Oscar. And so when I got Tiger, ironically named, she was 3 inches. My dad absolutely loved her to death. And I raised her up, put her in the 300-gallon. The 300-gallon leaked. She was one of the only fish. She was the only cichlid that survived. And she's been in my 90-gallon with convict cichlids ever since.
She is a sweetheart of an Oscar. I've never seen such a mellow Oscar as that one.
She is a puppy dog. Will come up to the top. She likes to splash me when I feed her. The tiger Oscars are great fish. I'll agree with Kenny on the 2 for difficulty.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that you can keep them in smaller tanks, and yeah, you probably could if you just do one fish, but I wouldn't say anything smaller than a 55.
Yeah.
But don't put them by themselves because they're moody.
Yeah.
They will pout.
You just see the one by Kenny. It's sulking right now, waiting
Yes.
for Kenny to hurry
Yeah.
up.
All I gotta do is just tap. See, there's this one here. I can't wait to train, man. She's gonna be.
They do have a mood, so you don't want to put them by themselves. You want them in a tank with something else, either another Oscar, preferably 3 Oscars minimum, or with some other cichlid that can hold its own against them.
Right.
Convict cichlid is a bugger, so they do fine with him or with her. Mine's female.
Really?
But yeah, minimum 55 gallon if it's by itself, but I would say 90 gallon, 75 to 90 gallons for a group.
Have either of you guys ever had luck breeding these Oscar fish?
I bred them for almost 2 years.
Did you really?
I've only had 1 grow to adulthood.
Wow. Okay.
I've had 7, and they were like betas for me at first, where they always committed suicide. I had 3 that were albino, that were gorgeous albinos. Every single one of them were gorgeous, and they were in this tank when it was in a different location, and they jumped out. Even when I had a lid, they would find a way.
Wow.
They're so cute when they start to get over to looking like a cichlid. At that age, I wish they'd stay that size. But at one point, I had 3 55s full of them this size, and I mean, but then you got to start taking them to market. You're like, oh man,
This is exactly the point why so many get bought at Petco or PetSmart in that small little cute stage, and then a year later they have a 12-inch fish and like, what the hell?
That ate everything. That ate all the tetras that they forgot to tell them they'd eat.
Exactly. All right, guys, it's my number 2. Are you ready for this? I think I'm going to throw you guys off on this. Chris might know this one. I don't know. Number 2 is the red Terra cichlid, the Mesoheros Vestae. I will take this fish against any fish in the aquatic kingdom and battle it against color. I'm so tired of people saying saltwater fish are the most colorful or African cichlids are the most colorful. I will take this fish, especially the female, up against any other fish, and you tell me that this fish is not as colorful as that one, I'll say hell no. The female especially breeding colors, deep oranges, reds, black stripes, just a stunning looking fish. It's called the red Terra, but quite honestly, and Chris, I think you know this, they're not as aggressive as their name sounds. I don't think the red Terra is like our true Terra. There's certainly more aggressive fish. Maybe in the South American cichlid range, it's probably the most aggressive. Chris, what do you think?
I'm sorry, I can't. My headphones just went out on me.
Oh,
I personally think it could hang with just about anything.
Yeah.
They're not going to actively pursue being aggressive towards other fish. However, they're not going to get bullied either.
Right.
I mean, I've seen them in person. Absolute stunning fish. Absolutely one of my bucket list fish I'm going to have in this house before it's over.
I've had a pair. I've bred them. I've had fry. I've given them away. I've given them into the club. I don't have a pair currently, but I'm going to get a pair real soon. Chris, the question to you was that I was saying the red Terra is called a red Terra, like a real scary name, but I don't think it's like the most aggressive cichlid out there. But
Yeah,
South American, you're the South American guy. You think it's one of the most aggressive South American cichlids, or what's your thoughts?
As a South American cichlid, yeah, probably. I would say that it is probably one of the most aggressive. They're gorgeous fish, though. I mean,
beautiful.
You can keep those with your Cuban cichlid, and
I'm a purist, man. I just keep mine all by themselves in a pair. That's all you need. I mean, just seeing them on fire, red, is it. That's all. That's just me, particularly. I'm just particularly that way. But Yeah, I don't know. Would they get? You think they get along with Cubans?
I had Green Texans in with my Cubans and my Oscar and Jack Dempsey's and Severum even. So, and the Green Terrors are pretty much the same. I mean, they're not, but they are.
Yeah, yeah.
So
very similar aggression, and yeah, for sure. But that's my number 2, guys. So we're going to number 1, and who's next? Who's doing number 1? Kenny. Oh,
it would
Chris.
be me.
Woo, Chris! I'm anxious to hear this one.
If you've ever watched any of my streams, you already know the answer to this one.
Absolutely, I do.
So, without further ado, the Rockheel Severum. Heroes species Rockheel. It is not officially named. And I have spent the last hour and a half before this stream trying to research how to make the name official.
Wow.
Because I want this to stop. I'm getting people saying, "Oh no, that's Heroes Officiatus. No, it's Heroes Severus. No, it's this. No, it's that." It's Heroes Species Rockheel because it hasn't been officially named.
Wow.
Last name of the person that found it was Rockheel, and it hasn't been officially classified. So they're gorgeous fish, in my opinion. The prettiest fish you can get from South America because there's blues, oranges, greens, yellows, golds on the fins. I mean, every color in the rainbow, just about, with the exception of purple, on this fish. They're moderately docile unless they're breeding. When they get really mean for a fish with a little mouth. That is minimum if you're breeding them or have a pair in a tank, 75 gallons. Yep. I've had them in smaller tanks. Will not do that ever again.
And ease of care?
They're easy to care for. There's so much I could talk about with this fish, so I'm not going to go any further than that. I'd say probably.
Give us a number 1 to 10. What do you think?
3 or 4.
3 or 4. That's cool.
I'd say 3.5 actually.
And the judges score? All right, Kenny E. What is your number 1, sir?
Well, before I get into my number 1, I do want to say, because I feel a little guilty for 2 fish I'm keeping here that were very close to hitting the top.
What's 5. Your honorable mentions? Tell us about
my 2 honorable mentions are African peacock, basically African peacock cichlids. Yep. My second one would be my Haitian cichlid. Oh, Susie. I mean, they were close. Both of them were so close, but I had to go with the 5 I went to. But my number 1, anybody that follows me knows my number 1 cichlid that I love and I talk about is the Paratilapia bleaker eye.
You mean Pollini?
A lot of people in there want to say it's a Pollini. Let me tell you all something. There's distinct differences. However, you're going to find them in most pet stores. It could be a bleaker eye or Pollini as a starry night cichlid. However, there are distinct differences. My boy right here claims he's going to get us Jim Cummins, the world-renowned expert on these fish on this stream one of these days.
Hello, Jim. Jim? Yes. I'll wait.
I am so looking forward to that day. I am a lover of Madagascan cichlids as a whole. I want to have a biotope one day. They are so cool, but this is by far, when I saw this fish for the first time, I mean, I could not pull my money out fast enough. I had to have it. And here we are 2 years later. I've got one that's almost 10 inches long now. And that feeling hasn't changed. Every time I see that fish, I still get the little butterflies. It's almost like your first date feeling almost, you know?
Oh my gosh.
You get that kind of buttery
Oscar
feeling.
Again for us, Chris.
What's that?
Say Oscar for us again, Chris.
The Astronatus ocellatus?
Yeah, because Kenny is getting really excited down there.
Oh, Danny's going to have some
Tilapia Pollini.
That would actually be a nice fish for you to photograph and enter into the show, Chris. I mean, Kenny, excuse me.
Oh.
Yeah, I love them. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous fish. Now, I would say I would still rate that about a 2, maybe 3. They're not that hard. Just make sure you give them some space. If you're going to start them off small, you could start with a 55, but plan on, like I said, every 6 to 8 months, upgrading them. Primo home would be at least a 135. When I do my biotope, I plan to do at least the 300 to 400, 500 gallon when I do a biotope, because these guys here are going to get huge. They're going to get nice.
Yeah, when people ask me about the bleaker eye, I tell them it's like an Oscar, just a much prettier fish. I mean, they have a lot of personality like Oscars. They eat like Oscars. They'll even sulk sometimes.
And the thing that's unique about them, guys, you can keep them with African cichlids or you can keep them with South American cichlids. I've kept them with both.
Right.
They hold their own against almost all of them.
Absolutely.
Matter of fact, the one in this tank, and you can see I've got Bruisers in here with them, and he's the tank boss. So,
wow. Chris, any words on that, or I go to number one?
I've had both the bleaker eye and the pollen eye in the past, and I'll agree with Kenny. There is a distinct difference. The spots there's a different size of spots. You also get a coloration in the nuchal area that you don't get on the other.
Right.
Sometimes the spots will bleed together on the bleaker eye.
Yeah, when they are flared up for breeding colors, there's nothing pretty. I mean, they get this bright yellow and it goes right through here.
I think they look the prettiest when they've kind of turned to a brownish color, and they've got those spots because that gold just bam.
Yeah.
Goldish blue popping.
The Starry Night Cichlid, I've had them for quite some time. They're incredible fish. So I'm going to go to my number one, and it's just like you two guys. I'm sure you guys know what I'm going to say. It is the Parachromis manawins, the Jaguar cichlid. This for me is the cream of the crop. This is the next fish I went to after the Oscar. They were at Petco. They're still at Petco for like $5 or $6. These are spectacular fish. They get to the male will get to about 18 to 20 inches. Female will get to half of that. They breed easy. They're easy to keep. They're not temperamental. Put them in water, get them good filtration, do your water changes. You're not going to have any issues. These guys are spectacular. I absolutely love them, and I couldn't even think of having a fish room without a pair of Jaguars in here. They breed readily. They eat almost anything you give them. They're just spectacular fish. I love them to death. My favorite by far. So, I got to give tank requirements, right? A male, even I was going to say a pair. It's got to be 125 or larger, even if it's a single male. For me, I would like to see them in a larger tank. They're going to need that space. I hate to see when they put Jaguars in smaller tanks and it kind of stunt their growth and they don't get long like they should. I think they preferably should be in at least the minimum a 90, but I would love to see them in a 6 foot long tank, if not larger. Just a great cichlid. 1 to 10, there are 2. I mean, seriously, they're as easy as Oscar, in my opinion. They don't cause a lot of troubles. There's not a lot of problems with them. They're very, very hardy. So I love them. That's my number one. Plenty of personality. You talk about color when they start breeding. You guys know they get that nice gold silver look to them. Absolutely excellent fish, and I love them. So that's my number one.
Scott, isn't the female a different color than the male?
At breeding time, she will get a little lighter. It's actually a lot of people have a hard time, keeping them as far as trying to identify male from female. But the female will get a little lighter at breeding time, and of course, the female is going to be a little smaller. But I don't know. I'm looking at my pair right in front of me now. Yeah, the female is a little different coloration. The male's a little darker, has more spots.
Right.
Yeah. But good job, gentlemen. Great fish.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, that was fun.
Yeah. Any regrets? Like when you said bleaker eye, I was like, oh my God, I should have said bleaker eye in my top 5. But then I look at my list, I'm like, no, there's nothing I could have taken out to put the bleaker eye in.
Dude, I already had a hard
would have to be the convict cichlid.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kenny. What were you saying?
I mean, I had so many that I wish I could have said something. I mean, maybe next time we'll do like a top 100 or something. I don't know. I mean, I kid you not. I mean, Scott told us what the topic was being. I mean, I was up all night like, oh man, I want this one. But I mean, when you keep as many different types of fish as we do, it's hard to narrow it down. Like if it came down like which ones would if I could only keep 5 alive, I mean, I'd probably get out of the hobby again or something, man. Because I couldn't pick. I mean, that's just the way it was. But it was fun doing this. It really was.
So top 100, we'd have to do that like New Year's Eve and just start it, and just at midnight we'll hit number 1.
Right.
It'd be fun for us to do a live stream for like 3 hours talking about our favorite top 100 fish. So maybe at that point we will be doing live streams. You never know.
That would be a long list.
I don't even know if I could come up with 100. I'm sure we could.
That's what I was just thinking to myself. I was like, I don't know if I could come up with 100. I mean, we'd be dipping into tetras and guppies, and we'd be dipping into everything at that point.
Yeah. So great job, gentlemen. I certainly appreciate you guys. Kenny, I'm going to start with you, as we always do. Tell us what's going on in your world. Where can we catch you at? Let us know.
I'm the co-host on Rob 93 every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Then I also do 2 streams of my own. Friday nights at 7:30, we follow LRB Aquatics. That's 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. And then Sunday, we are at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
And that's with myself and my wife.
Any recent videos you put out?
I recently did a short on the Ultim Angels, and then I just did one today on my wife just did a rescape on our pea puffer tank. So we got a cool little video about the pea puffer.
I got to tell you guys, I came to Kenny's streams last Sunday, and I had to park way out back because there's like 100+ people in your room. That place is really jumping Sunday nights. It was great. I mean, you guys are hilarious. So.
And we try to have a good time. Now, I will tell you guys, the reason I'm with these 2 gents is so I can talk more fish, because on Friday night, if I get to answer one fish question, I'll be amazed. So Friday night's more of a let loose. We still talk about fishy stuff, but it's not going to be as intense as it is with these 2 gents, which, thank you, gents, because it gives me my good little fish little stuff going for one day. So.
I'll be honest with you. After our first stream, I had to call Chris up, and I was like, I didn't know Kenny knew so much. He's so smart. So, yeah. All right, Chris, tell us what is going on in your world, sir.
Well, I am down to Diary of a Fish Keeper, usually on a Sunday for my members, and then Tuesday, which will be today, I release it for everybody else. And I was doing a stream on Wednesdays, but have backed off of that because I want to keep it, I don't want to get out of control. I don't want to get burnt out. Mm-hmm. So I drop shorts throughout the week, and then I do the keep that leg down, boy. And I do my live streams on Saturdays, 12 p.m. Pacific or 3 p.m. Eastern with Mary Paige Flynn, who's finally home. Thank God.
Yeah. Oh, did she finally make it home?
Yes.
I'll be
she's
darned.
Finally home, but she just informed me that she's going to be moving.
I tell everyone that she's got the prettiest smile on YouTube, Mary Paige. Yeah, you got a great host there. So
I love her to death.
So, guys, before we go, you 2 are in a race to 2,000. Chris, you are really close. I think you're, 60-some away?
Yeah, I 67 last check.
So we definitely want to encourage you guys, if this is the first time you're watching this podcast, where the hell have you been? But number 2, definitely check out Multi-Tank Addictions and hit that subscribe button. You will not regret it. Danikin Aquatics, Kenny E., you were close too, correct?
Yeah, I'm about 117 away now.
Woo, it is really a tight race. Really a tight race. So again, go to Danikin Aquatics. All the descriptions are down. The links are below. Just hit that link. Go to subscribe. Hit that button. You will not regret it. I'm telling you, some of the live streams there are out of this world. So definitely check those 2 guys out. I would appreciate it. As far as me, you should already be subscribed to me. I just dropped a video about my pier-size cichlid. Kenny enjoyed it so much, he actually called me up and said, hey, where did that music come from?
Yeah, dude, that chick's voice was good, dude.
Isn't she got a great voice? I use, it's called Epic Sound. You can pay it like $15 a month. You get all this, music, royalty-free music. And I heard that song. I was like, oh, my God, I got to use it for something. It just worked perfect with how majestic the Pierce Eye is. So,
Yeah,
so that video's out. Our podcast number 2 is out. Like I said, it's about to hit 800 views. And then our first one is well over 1,000. So we appreciate all your support, guys. Next week, I have no idea. You guys got any ideas what we're going to talk about next week? Chris?
I was waiting for Kenny. He was like all getting wound up and everything.
Oh, I was excitement trying to think what you would say next, man.
I would say something like top 5 dream tanks.
Ooh, top 5 dream tanks. That would be nice. Like we can include the size of the tank and what we would put in there and inhabitants and that. Oh, that'd be cool. Okay. Kenny E, same thing? Or
that's that. That sounds like a plan, man.
Yeah. All right, guys. If you like that idea, leave comments below. If you have a better idea, something you want us to talk about, leave your comments below. There was a bunch of comments that I didn't bring to this podcast for people asking questions, and shame on me for not bringing them, but we will definitely address those questions on podcast number 4. This is getting to be a lot of fun. And guys, Chris, Kenny, I really appreciate this. This has really got me back in the hobby. I appreciate it. I appreciate spending time with you two. And I just can't wait to do this again.
I got one thing to say before you drop it off. If you people would like to see the fish heads do a live stream, drop it in the thing below and tell us. We want to see you live. I want to see what everybody would say about that.
I agree because I would prefer not to edit, but I think some people do like the edits, but I prefer to do this live too. So let us know and we'll definitely do it. Right? I mean, we got everybody keeps saying the 3 of us have a great chemistry, and I just want to keep, I agree. We do.
Well,
so
we could totally do a live stream and then do like the first half hour of it, just like we did.
Yeah.
And then the second half, we could answer questions in the chat. That way.
All right. Yeah. And Chris, I have to bow down to you because you are absolutely right. We could not do 30 minutes. Here we are in minute 50. So you were right. As always, you were right, Chris.
We couldn't even keep it under an hour. Look, Scott.
All right, guys. Love you guys much.
Much love, dude.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.
Have a great one.